Growth and expansion, we've taken that same local community spirit into other markets. Today, with over 20,000 customers across Tennessee, our business philosophy remains the same. Local people making local decisions, serving our friends and customers, and investing in the communities that we serve. Here for you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Apex Bank of Camden, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Operation 7570 on this Saturday. Certainly hope that you're doing well. Glad to have you with us, whether you're joining us by WRJBradio.com, 95.9. Facebook audience with our Facebook Live video today. Great to have you with us and hope your weekend is off to a wonderful, wonderful start. Well, our guest in the studios today with us is our trustee for Benton County. This is Beverly Beal. She's been on the job about 6 months now and has been very busy since that time. We're going to talk about that, the things, duties, and responsibilities of the trustee's office, of course. And, of course, here we are at the middle part of February, and that means that tax season, if you haven't paid your property taxes, you better make plans to do that between now or February 28th, or you could be subject to a penalty if you pay the taxes later. We'll talk about all that this morning, of course, as the program rolls along. But again, it's great to have you with us. Beverly, thank you so much for getting up this early and being with us today. Thank you, young lady. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Flash. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Nearly 6 months on the job. How's it going?
You know, Flash, it's going great. I was telling you earlier that the staff in the office, I just cannot. I'm beyond blessed at the girls that are in the office. They're just always willing to step up and help and teach, and so it's been an amazing journey.
Well, I had the girls as one of my talking points today, and since you brought up the staff at this point of the program early, that's fine. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to those staff members. Who have you got in the office that give you such great help?
We've got Tammy Hartley. She's been there, I believe, over 23 years. And let's see, then there's Laura Pruitt, who's been there a good while as well, and Glenda Pierpoint, who's also, all three are very seasoned staff members, and they're a wonderful, wonderful group of girls. It takes a good staff to make the official look good, I guess is the word, I don't know, or give them the support that they need, and they're definitely doing that. I just cannot say enough about my staff.
Yeah. Well, of course, we have known you, longtime Benton County resident, and you made this decision a couple of years ago to run for trustee, subject to last year's election. Got elected against two outstanding opponents, of course, then. But in case there are still newcomers that come in, and we do have some newcomers that come in to take up residency in our city and county from time to time, but give me some background information about Beverly Beal, and ultimately, why did you decide to seek this office a couple of years back?
Well, I've lived in Benton County my whole life, and I went to work for the county clerk's office in '98 under the administration of Roseanne Ward, and then I stayed there for 23 years, currently under the administration of Wanda Malin, and I learned that serving the people of Benton County is something that I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. It's very important to me to help my fellow person, and so when I found out that Miss Sherry Beasley was retiring, I prayed about it, and I talked with my husband Ken Beal, and we talked about it, we prayed about it, and I knew that this was something that was a next step for me. So I decided, I went and talked to Miss Sherry, and I talked to several people to get some advice, and it was ultimately my decision to run for trustee. I had some great opponents, and so I knew that it was going to be a hard battle, so to speak, but I met some great people on the campaign trail, and it's just really turned out to be a major blessing in my life.
Well, you were a veteran of the county courthouse employees with Roseanne and Wanda, of course, for all these many years, and made the transition, very familiar with the operations of county government. But 6 months ago, after we knew you were going to go into the office as trustee-elect, and now in the 6 months on the job, what did you have to learn, making the transition over from Wanda's office over into the trustees? duties and responsibilities?
Well, there was quite a bit to learn. You know, the trustee is a whole different office from the county clerk's office, but I will say this. I have utilized a lot of my skills from the county clerk's office to help me in the trustee's office. I learned a lot from Wanda as far as being a public official. You know, you see a lot of things that the officials deal with on a daily basis. So I ultimately had the experience to handle certain situations and knew how things have been handled in the past. Also, too, a lot of my experience from the county clerk's office has really helped me in the trustee's office. As far as one example is the tax relief program. A lot of times, if you have a mobile home on the property for tax relief wants a copy of the title. In some instances, the title is the home is detitled and affixed to the property. I knew about all that from the county clerk's office and knew how to handle that and help people come up with the documents to show tax relief that, yes, the home is detitled, it is affixed to the property, and therefore they were able to get their tax relief.
Yeah. Now, I want to get into tax relief. That's a talking point I had as well. We're going to do that a little bit later on, of course, and to let people know what property tax relief program is all about in case you or your staff can assist them with that particular project. We'll talk about that, but before we do that, Beverly, just what are the duties and responsibilities of a county trustee, and how does that overall fit into a county government and its operations?
Flash, the trustee has a huge duty to the county. We right now, I'm in the process or have implemented some new interest rates. That's one of the duties of the trustee, is to find and invest our money into different places and right now we're very fortunate that we're in a time of high interest rates as far as from an investment standpoint. So that's what I've done, increased our interest rates tremendously. So we're expecting some great revenue from that. Also, the trustee has the responsibility of collecting the property taxes, which is very, very important to the county. Property taxes are what keeps us going. So the property tax part, the investing part, there's just so many different aspects to the trustee's duties. So, you know, I'm learning every day how to invest the money, I'm looking at excise tax now. I'm studying that, from financial institutions, learning more about that. Working really hard to collect personal property taxes, delinquent ones. So I'm hoping that with all these different aspects of investing and learning different ways to bring money into the county, that it will really be significant in helping with the budget in different areas.
Now, you mentioned the property taxes, which is a major source of revenue for the trustees and the operation of county government services, of course. But in addition to the property taxes, what other sources of revenue come into your office, that may be invested by you and the staff?
Well, we get the mineral severance tax. It comes from the state. Like I mentioned, we've got the excise tax. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Yes, of course.
Let's see, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Each department brings their different funds to us to disperse throughout the different funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk property taxes, and I paid mine back before Christmas, but property tax season started, I think, 1st of October, continuing to the end of February for all practical purposes then. So how have the collections been here during this current season of property tax collections?
It's going well. It's going very well. I figured it up the other day. We're at about 54%. Of course, we're in February now, and the way that I understand it is this is the huge month that we start collecting. February 28th is the last day for your 22 taxes to be, property taxes to be collected. After February 28th, the 22 taxes will get an interest, penalty and interest of 1.5%. But, property taxes.
Well, of course, you've got deadlines, and we have deadlines that we have to meet with all of our obligations, whether it's paying property taxes or personal other expenses we're responsible for, of course. But with February 28th coming up now, which I think is about 2 weeks from this coming Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know Sherry had a tradition, and maybe the trustee before her had a tradition, like on that final Saturday in February, maybe open a few hours to collect.
We are.
Are you going to do
Yes.
that? Give me some
We'll be
information on
open February 25th
Okay.
from 8 to noon. We'll be there. Of course, if we have to stay over, if somebody's needing to pay, we'll accommodate them. That's for sure. So that's the Saturday before the 28th. It'll be the 25th. So. You can, if you work and can't make it up there before 4, of course you can call the office and I'll be glad to wait on you. If you're working and it's after 4 on a weekday, just let me know. On Saturday the 25th, we'll be there for several hours, so just come on up and we'll take care of you.
Yeah. Now, of course, we're talking about county property taxes, but I think that February 28th rate, that also holds for municipalities as well, for city collection, City of Camden property taxes, maybe
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah, I don't, whether penalties, I'm not sure about their interest in penalties. May vary a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
very well. Of course, you could check with the various municipality officials at
Yeah.
Big Sandy or Camden, but regardless, where you live in, be sure by February 28th you have those taxes
That's
paid.
exactly
or they
right.
are subject to penalty after February 28th, so just give me
They
some
are.
information how that would work
Well,
then
let's
as we
see.
go along.
The 21 taxes are, obviously, they're delinquent. So you had until, I believe it was, they're now at an 18% interest on your 21s. So in March, we will be turning those over to the courts, clerk and master. And I strongly urge for you to try to do what we can for us to let us help you not let that happen. When it gets into the courts upstairs, it's almost like a snowball effect, because we're not allowed in our office to collect anymore until the 21s that have gone upstairs to clerk and master are paid. So if we can avoid that, and the way we can avoid that is we do take partial payments all year long. We take partial payments. I'm in the process of setting up the bank draft so that you can automatically have it withdrawn out of your account if you choose to. So I'm in the process of working on that. And so to keep it from going, getting delinquent and going upstairs, we strongly encourage to come in, let's talk it over, let's try to figure out a plan to keep that from happening, because that can get difficult to pull up from that. And then the current taxes are still, accruing as well. So, yeah.
That might be the way to go now. Of course, if you want to pay partial when tax season rolls around, the 1st of October, or if your property taxes are very, very substantial, and I don't care how much property you got, you consider them substantial
Yeah.
then. And if you can't afford it all at one time, if you want to make partial payments, that might be the way to go.
It is. It's we're in some tough times, and so to come up in February with this huge chunk of money can be difficult. So if you would each month just allot a certain amount, or some months you may do more, some months less, depending on your financial situation. You could come in and pay that amount per month, and by the time February gets here, a good chunk of it's already paid for, or all of it can be paid for by February. So I encourage you to come up and let us, help you come up with a plan before it gets to the in a situation that it's in the courts.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Beverly, we have some entities across Benton County and across all counties in the state of Tennessee, railroad lines, running through, TVA transmission lines, and let's see, natural gas lines, of course, trucking companies, trucking, shipping, freight companies come in and out. Do those entities, do they pay taxes, or they do what I call in lieu of tax type payments, or explain that.
That's called your ad valorem or your utility taxes. They are assessed through the state. There's an office there, which I've been talking with Ryan Hall quite a bit about these particular taxes, these utility taxes. We have some that are delinquent that I'm in the process of really moving forward to collect. So those are very important. They bring in quite a bit of revenue for the county. We don't have a whole lot because we're a small county, but yeah, that's like your trucking businesses, things like that. We also have the personal property, and those personal property is a little bit different. It's the tangible property within your business that you use to run your business that is also taxed. It is assessed by the state as well. And people have a hard time understanding what differentiating between a personal property tax and a real property. Personal property, like I said, is like your microphones you use for your business. Real property is your land. So personal property taxes, I'm going to be working really hard figuring out how to collect those as well, because we have several that are delinquent. And I did reach out to several businesses, either through Facebook or I figured out their phone number, and they did not even realize that this was was something they were supposed to be paying. And even though they are sent out, letters about it, maybe their address has changed or different things. So yeah, those are two other ways that the county does collect personal property and your utility taxes.
You mentioned working with Ryan Hall, the assessor of property for Benton County. Your office and his office works very closely together.
Mm-hmm. Very close. Yeah, I've been talking with Ryan quite a bit, and he's a huge help for me. He's tried to teach me a lot of things, about the ratio in the county and the equalization, and very complex that I don't completely understand. So, because I was talking with him, about the property rate, the 2.72, and he was explaining the certified tax rate to me that he has encouraged the county commission to go with in the last couple of years, which they have. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I don't completely understand yet, but it's a very interesting subject and a lot to learn.
Yeah, you get into tax rates and things you mentioned right there, and the formulas that are used to calculate. It can get very confusing, I'm sure.
It is. But now Ryan can explain it.
Yes, he can. He sure can.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, let's see. What else did I have on my mind? Seemed like there was something else.
Oh, we've got
Oh, yes. It's got, yeah. Well, you've brought some talking points today. What are some things before we take the break you actually want to bring out before we get away from the program?
We talked about the 21 property taxes and how much I encourage you to keep it from going to the courts. I want to really work on that while I'm in all, so that I can help people from that happening, because it's so difficult to get out of that. 22 property taxes, we said after February 28th, they will accrue a 1.5% interest per month. So those were, that's not a lot. I know some people may have to wait till March, Now the 21 property taxes will be turned over in March. 22s we hold in our office until March of next year. And so, you've got that time to pay it, but there are penalties per month, 1.5%. I've got the tax relief program.
Okay, I tell you, I want to get into the tax relief, and we talked about that at the top of the program. But before we do that, this is a good time for a break. So, Luke, if you'll go ahead and play a message for our sponsor, Apex Bank, we'll be back with Beverly Beal, and we will get into what tax relief is all about. Stay with us.
For more than 85 years, Apex Bank of Camden has built a tradition of local people serving local people. Although there have been changes over the years, this one thing remains the same. Hometown people that are your friends serving you every day to meet your financial needs. We want to see you grow and prosper. And when you ever have a need, you'll get personal attention right here at home, not in some far-off corporate office. Number one in customer service. Apex Bank of Camden, Benton County's best bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Operation 7570 on this Saturday morning. Benton County Trustee Beverly Beal is with us, and we're talking about aspects of the different things that takes place in her office. And once again, we remind you, February 28th is the deadline to have your property taxes paid for the current fiscal year without subject to penalty. Beverly has talked about that, and we may reiterate that before we end the program here in just a little bit. But Beverly, one thing we talked about, I certainly wanted to bring this to the forefront today. That is the property tax relief program. Give me some information on that and who is eligible.
Well, the tax relief program is it's put on by the state. Each year they determine through some type of formula how much relief people, which would be like your elderly, your disabled veterans, and widowers of disabled veterans all could possibly qualify for the 22 tax relief program. The elderly and the 65 and older, if you are below $31,600 is the income at this point. It'll change next year. You could probably qualify for tax relief. And what tax relief is, it's a program, like I said, put on by the state, where they determine a certain amount of money to reduce your property taxes. This year, it's $163. Last year, it was $198, I believe. So each year, it can fluctuate. The income also has changed. I believe one year it was $30,000 and some odd dollars, and this year it's $31,600. So anytime you think you're close to, once you turn 65 or you're disabled or veteran, come in, and if you don't qualify that year, we'll try it again the next year, because things change, as far as the income and things like that, the qualifying factors. I've learned a lot about the tax relief program in the last few years. We don't start accepting tax relief applications until October. And I did have some classes, some little places throughout the county that I wanted to talk about, that I did talk about the tax relief program. Had several people sign up that have already received their checks in the mail. So that every little bit helps, every little bit helps. So the tax relief program is a great program to help you, give you some relief on your taxes. Let's see, what else? Widowers of the disabled veterans. Now, veterans are a little different. They do not have to have a certain income. If they are a veteran 100%, the state will research that, and most of the time they get all of their taxes paid up to a certain point. It's a much more than the 163. I think it's quite a bit. I don't know the exact figure on that.
Yeah. If an individual this year has qualified for tax relief, for assistance through the tax relief program, if they've been accepted this year, does that automatically mean they'll become part of it next year? Or do they have to come back and make another application in the coming year?
Well, they don't have to do an application. What they'll get is what we call a voucher in the mail. And that voucher has the breakdown of how much their taxes are, how much their relief is, and what amount they would owe to the trustee's office. So every year they'll get that voucher. Now, if their income has increased and is above the set amount for that year, we'll ask them all that when they bring that voucher to us. So if their income is above that amount, then they will not qualify that particular year, but they do get a voucher, and when they bring it in, we ask them income and see if they fall within the parameters. If they do, then they get the tax relief.
Now, you mentioned a few moments ago, Beverly, that shortly after you took office, you held some classes in all parts of Benton County, Big Sandy, Holiday, and here in Camden, of course, and had some people to come in to learn more about it. And I would imagine that there would be some that attended those meetings that had no idea this was available.
There were. We have a lot of newcomers in our area, a lot of people moving in, and a lot of a good portion of those new newcomers in our area are older, over 65. And so I did have several of them. I did have some locals, too. I had some locals. But a lot of people were not aware of the tax relief program. It's been here for years and years and years. It's just a great program that to take advantage of if you qualify. So in those meetings, that's what I tried to do was get the word out, and hopefully the people that did attend can help spread the word as well. Some that came qualified, some didn't, but still they know it's out there, and there may come a time when tax relief's income is up enough that those people might qualify. So I mean, if you know it's there, check into it.
Might you continue this, go and do these meetings, similar type meetings, maybe this coming fall, or as long as you're a trustee, continue to do this?
I possibly could.
Okay.
I possibly could. We'll just see how things go. If the community, I'm more than happy to come speak to any group, organization, and let you know about it. But yeah, that might be something to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask, beyond the programs you did in regards to property tax relief, in case there are groups or organizations, senior citizens groups, church groups that would like to have you to come, I'm sure you'd be more than welcome.
Oh yeah, I would be more than happy to explain this tax relief program, because it's a wonderful asset, to help paying our property tax. Anything that I can do to help you with your property taxes, with tax relief, with partial payments, with bank draft, anything I can do to help you get your property taxes paid and not get you delinquent or fall into a delinquent tax, in part, I want to do that. That is my main goal.
Yeah, and during the campaign, you found out people like to see you in person. We always see your newspaper ads, hear you on the radio ads, things like that. People like to hear a county official, and a county official likes to get involved in the community as well, don't they?
Yeah.
You love community events.
Oh, yeah. I'm at ball games and where else am I at? Restaurants, and, my husband, Ken Beal, he's a preacher. He's a very big social person. He preaches at Shiloh and Cowles Chapel, wonderful churches. We're just so blessed. I mean, this community has just embraced us, and we embrace them. So,
in your title, then, in one of your many roles, but in your role as a minister's wife within the community, do you find that helps you when you're at the courthouse as a trustee, or do you find what you're doing at the trustee that can help you in your role as a minister's wife? Are they reciprocal?
Very much. Very much, Flash. I don't know how to describe it. The people in our community are such, I don't even know the word, loving, kind. We have people that come in the trustee's office that need prayer, and we pray for them. We pray with them. We have people that come in the trustee's office that just want to sit down and chat a while, and we chat with them. And we have people that come in there that just need help figuring out their property taxes, and what we need to do, and we help them. That's what we're there for. And I'm going to tell you something. Those 3 girls in there are unbelievably compassionate and willing to go that extra mile to help you any way they can, with any situation that you've got. I mean, there's times when people come in, they're not real sure where they need to go to figure out things about their land, and maybe they want to combine land and this and that. So we walk them to Ryan's office, or we had one yesterday. She thought that her deed had been registered. She went to the attorney's office. They gave her a copy. She put it in her glove box. And so when we went to do her property taxes, it still had the other person's name on there. She couldn't understand that. So we explained and walked her over to the Register of Deeds and said, this is what we need to do. This is our next step. So there's a lot to the trustee's office.
Yeah, and I'm sure from time to time you get questions that is really out of your area of responsibility, and you know where to refer them to, whether it be with another courthouse office or somewhere in the community. We have several people. Let's see. We had someone the other day that needed the 911 information. I can't even think. I mean, things that are,
where's the best place to eat. So we give them all the places
Absolutely.
because they're all good places to
Absolutely.
eat. But everything. We're just a wealth of information.
Yeah. Now, in your role as a trustee, and I want to talk about the chili cook-off out at Shiloh Church here in just a little bit. But in your role as trustee, do you belong to what I'm calling a statewide organization of county trustees or any statewide groups like CTAST or things like that
Yeah.
you're involved with?
Yeah.
Been to any of those conferences thus
Yes,
far?
yes.
Okay.
We went to the CTAS conference. When was that? Well, I had the orientation when I first came in the office, which was in October, November, and then we have an upcoming COAT meeting it's later in this year, I believe October, but those, and we also have a trustees association, which is coming up in the spring is it Franklin? There's so many, I have to keep up with. Some I'll be able to attend, some I can't. You have to pick and choose. But I am going to be very active with the Trustees Association, and I want to attend all the COAT meetings, County Officials Association of Tennessee. They have a lot of good information, a lot of good vendors that are there that teach us different things, new things that we can bring to our county that can either bring in revenue, help us bring in revenue, or implement that would help the citizens of Benton County in different ways, such as the bank draft program, that I'm hoping that will help people to pay their property taxes. So those COAT meetings and those also at the trustee meetings, you develop relationships with other trustees, and that has been a huge part of being in office. They give you ideas, they help you with certain situations. So I mean, it's a great group to be a part of.
Yeah,
So.
and you network, you exchange ideas. This county may be doing something. You may think, hey, that's a good fit for us right here.
Yes, exactly. I had that
Yeah.
just the other day. I was talking to, I believe it was Tiptonville. It all runs together.
Yeah, of course it
all runs
does.
together. And just the great trustees are just a great group of people. They are willing to go over and above, to help you. I've got one that said, I'll come to Benton County. We'll walk through it. Talking about the bank draft. We'll walk through it because I've been doing it for years. I know, and I'm thinking, wow, she's willing to take her time out to come walk us through this. So, I mean, it's just it's good to be a part of the organizations that you're in.
Yeah. Well, what I like, don't like to pay my property taxes, but you've got to do that. It's a responsibility you got to do. But you and all the staff up there always greet me with a smiling face. And if I just go in for a visit, same situation, of course. And what I like about going into the office, over on your wall, as soon as you enter, the right side pictures of past trustees of Benton County. And I think that's important to preserve, the history of the personnel that have served in that office in the past.
And it's funny flashes. It seems like the older I get, the more important history gets. And I've stood and looked at a lot of those. Of course, I don't know most of them, but it's very important. On the outside wall there, David Markham does that Wall of Honor. What it's, and that's a lot of that's history too. I mean, there's my uncle's on that wall, but the trustees. There's a lot of interesting information that I would like to learn.
And I think I could be wrong on this, but I think the first trustee goes back to 1835, 1836, way back?
Way back.
Mr. Williams, I think, was the gentleman's name.
I don't know,
As a matter of
Flash.
fact.
I can't remember that. You're the history
Well,
buff.
hey, but
You're the one that.
But the fact of the matter is that the trustee's office in there, it just seems like whoever has that position, they serve. They do well, and they serve for a long period of time. There's a lot of longevity there. I mean, I think back, Sherry, of course, G.W. Patterson, and Ralph Walker, those three come to mind right away then. And beyond that, it's hard to remember as you go back in history. But, I mean, you've got some great footsteps and a great legacy there to follow.
Definitely. And I'll say this, too. Sherry has been instrumental in my learning process. Anytime I have a question, I can text, I can call, or any of the girls, can reach out to her, and she's there. She's going to answer it. She's going to help us figure it out, or let us know it's not anything to worry about. So I'm honored to have
absolutely.
her.
Of course, she's spending a lot of time with those grandyoungins right now. I'm sure.
She is. She come in the other day to pay her property taxes, and she visited with us for a little while, and she looks great.
Fantastic.
She does.
Well, I tell you, we wanted to talk about something in addition to the trustee's office, and that's coming up in 2 weeks out at Shiloh United Methodist Church. Ken Beal, the pastor out there. It's called a chili cook-off, and give some information on that, if you will, young lady.
Yeah, so on February 25th, it's on a Saturday, Shiloh United Methodist Church is having a chili cook-off. We're going to have some judges, which Flash has agreed to be one of our judges. I think we've got George Smith, we've got the Sheriff Kenny Christopher, Don from Good Wings, and Flash, and Mark Ward has agreed to be one of our chili cook-off judges. So we've got a fine crew there. So what it is, it's we're having a women's conference in April, so we were trying to think of ways to earn money for our women's conference. So a chili cook-off was mentioned, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So on February 25th, the judging begins at 4:15, and if you'll have your chili there around 4 o'clock, the judges will judge around 4:15. First place can win $200, and there's a second place and third place prize. There's also a fan favorite prize, meaning come on in and we'll let you try the chili. We're going to pick out a fan favorite. Also, for $10, Eldonna Henry is going to be serving her hot Sicilian sandwiches. If anybody remembers those are awesome. Along with that $10, you can get the hot Sicilian sandwich, a drink, a dessert, and a bowl of chili. So it's a pretty good deal. And so that starts at 5 o'clock. Is when the doors open and the crowd tasting begins. So that's the chili cook-off February 25th.
All going to a good cause.
All going to a good cause, yes.
And in case people are looking for a church home, you'd certainly invite them to come be with you and Ken, not just at Shiloh, but at Cal's Chapel.
Yes.
Come anytime.
Come anytime. Shiloh, we begin at 9:30. We begin at 9:30. We have a wonderful, wonderful group there at Shiloh. We invite you to come out any time and visit with us. We also have Cal's Chapel. They start at 11. Great group of people there as well. And either church, you can come to both. Just leave Shiloh and follow us to Cal's, or you can come to just one or the other anytime. We would absolutely love to have y'all.
As busy as you are, how do you juggle everything? Balance your time, trustee, minister's wife, a mother, community leader out there making all these events. How do you balance your time with all these activities going on, Beverly?
Well, it's really not... I wouldn't say, it just kind of falls into place. You've got you go to work during the day and you serve the people, and then after work you've got Bible study, or you've got to be at a basketball game, or you've got things you do, and I love it. I mean, it's a community.
But all of them supplement each other. They supplement all the other things that you're involved with.
They really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I see everybody I know come to the trustee's office. I go to Bible study. There's a bunch of people there that I saw that morning that paid their property taxes, or go to the ball game and there they are. So I mean, you just everybody's just it's a great life. Flash.
Speaking of ball games, tonight Camden and Waverly girls play out here at the Camden Gym at 6 p.m. tonight. It's a play-in game for the remainder of the tournament. We've defeated Waverly twice this year in girls basketball play, so we're going to have that game on the WRJB radio sites. As you well know, we'll be out there a little bit before 6 tonight. Looking forward to that. And then into next week, boys teams and hopefully girls teams both will be advancing further in tournament play. District tournament at East Hickman. Then a few days after the district comes to a close, we're going to be hosting the regional basketball tournament. So still a busy time, young lady.
The regionals, this is the first time we've hosted it in a while.
I think so. I'm going to have to look back. I may have to check with John Taylor to see if he can, see that. Of course, last year was the first time we'd had a district tournament in like 50 years. So Probably
That's
at least
great.
that far before with a region, so there are going to be some good teams coming in. But Beverly, I appreciate you coming in today. It's been a great discussion. And before we close, let's go ahead and talk about the deadline for getting your property taxes in here without penalty.
So February 28th is the deadline for your property taxes. We will be open February 25th, which is the last Saturday before the end of February, between 8 and 12. So come on in and we'll get you fixed up. We'll help you any way we can to get those property taxes paid. It's very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us, and we thank our audience today, whether by Facebook or on radio, WRJBradio.com. Thank you so much. If you got a question in regards to paying your property taxes or anything that Beverly can help you with, go by and see her at the courthouse or give her a phone call. Phone number again?
584-6211 is the trustees. My cell is 441-4979. I didn't give the numbers for the chili cook-off. If you want to participate in the chili cook-off real quick, you can contact me at 441-4979, Haley Brooke McDowell at 234-5464, or Ken Beal at 441-5801.
So keep those things in mind as we go along in the next several days, ladies and gentlemen. That's our program. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks to Beverly Beal for being with us on 7570 today. Hope you have a great day. Thanks to our sponsor, Apex Bank. Thanks to Luke Crutchfield for his assistance in the other studio, like always. A great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday morning. Goodbye, everybody.
Apex Bank of Camden, proudly serving the Benton County community since 1931. In recent years,